Hello, class. So here is the correlational research assignment. I'm going to walk you through it. All right, so here is the research process, right? And here's the research question. What is the relationship between, so let's say the question that I picked was hours on social media and GPA. So that's what I had asked the class, all right? That was what my variables are. So hours on social media and GPA. So my hypothesis, what do I think is going to happen when I compare these two? So let's see. I think as hours on social media increase, I think that GPA will decrease. So I think that there's going to be a negative correlation. That's what I think, okay? So don't worry about doing the independent and the dependent variable. You're more likely to hear independent and dependent variable when you're talking about an experiment, all right? So what was the question that I posed to the class? Remember we were shouting out different questions. So the question was, how many hours, I think it was per day, do you spend on social media? And then the other question was, what is your current cumulative, did I spell that right? Okay, GPA. Okay, those were the questions that were asked, and the students had to write those answers down on the little sheets of paper. All right, how many people took the survey? So that's however many little pieces of paper you have. Okay, so you count out each of those little pieces of paper, and let's say you had 28 pieces of paper. Only count those pieces of paper that are actually your letter, that actually, because some maybe got put into the wrong pile. So maybe you were letter M that they asked about the hours on social media. Make sure that all your little pieces of paper have the letter M on it, okay? Because maybe some got put in the wrong place. So the results says attach the results table in your Excel graph. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that now. And on this sheet, I do give you a link for doing it on Excel, but you can't use the online version of Excel. You can only use the Excel that is installed on a computer, so the desktop version, because the online Excel does not have the trend line. So I'm going to show you actually how to do it on Google Sheets, okay? Because everybody has access to Google Sheets. So this is like Google's free version of Excel, essentially. All right, so you'd sign in and all that kind of stuff. For me, I have it already installed. So you would go and you would, search for Google Sheets, sign into your Google account, and get Google Sheets up. I'm going to pull it up because I already have it installed. And I'm going to do blank. Now, right here, I'm going to put in the hours per day on social media. And I'm just going to move that little, there we go, and then put in GPA. Then I take my first little sheet of paper, and I'm looking at the numbers, and the first person said that they spend 1 hour on social media and their GPA is 4.0. All right, the next little piece of paper says that they spend 3 hours a day on social media and their GPA is a 2. The next person says that they spend 5 hours a day on social media, their GPA is 1.89. The next person said that they spend 4 hours a day and theirs is 2.1. Let's see what else. And the next person said that they spend 2 hours a day on social media and their GPA is 3.8. You would go down and put all of the little pieces of information in, all right? You will put all of those in. When you get all those little sheets of paper added or entered in, you highlight it, highlight the 2 columns, go to Insert, go to Chart, And here we see the little chart. I'm going to go over here where it says customize, go down to series, and I'm going to hit trend line. Okay, so this is what we see. Look at that trend line. It's going downwards. So that means that there is a what? A negative correlation. Now, sometimes you're going to see that the line doesn't go down so steeply. It might just go down a tiny little bit. So you would say that there was a slight negative correlation. Or if the line goes up, say it starts here and it just goes up a little bit, then that's a positive correlation, a slight positive correlation. This is a pretty heavy correlation. This is a pretty strong negative correlation. So you go over to share, and I would put in Kelly Rodriguez chart, and I would push save. And then you go to change anyone on the internet with this link. So I would copy that link, and I would, once I copy that link, I am going to go back to my sheet, get that link. There we go. And it says attach it. So if you were doing it on Excel, you could print it off. Here, I'm just going to put the link right in there so that when I'm grading it, I can click on that and see your table and your chart. Okay, so does your graph show a positive, a negative, or no correlation? Remember, we saw a negative correlation. The line went down. Was your hypothesis supported? Yeah, I said that there was going to be a negative correlation, and that's what we found. Yes. What is your educated guess as to why this relationship exists? So why did we find a negative correlation? So I think it's because more time spent on social media means less time studying. I'm just throwing out some sort of, I don't know, idea, educated guess as to why maybe I'm seeing a negative correlation. What were some weaknesses and limitations of the study that we just did, this correlational study? Well, we had a small class, right? A small sample. There's only, maybe 20-something people in our class. What are some other ones? We didn't really operationalize our variables. Did not clearly operationalize our variables, meaning that I didn't really clearly define what hours of social media meant. I was kind of like, oh, you just decide what the definition is. So in reality, we would very clearly say what counts as social media. All right. We didn't really operationalize, did we? And we went very quickly, right, with gathering the data. So that might have affected people when they were trying to come up with their answers. And then you can just cross out this part, all right? Ideas for future research. In there you could say maybe do an experiment or do another study with a bigger sample, but you can just cross that out. I'm not even going to grade that part. All right, so there. Now I have my study done, and you have this whole paper filled out. I would save that and upload it to our class, and you completed the project.